Okay, I think we're ready. That was literally about 3 minutes. If I could have everybody take their seats. By the way, we are on 96.5 Easy Hits for our live presentation. He is live on the radio right now, and we are officially live on Facebook. Okay, so my first introduction to present this award is our own Susie Montgomery. Would you please come up to present our first award?
Well, I am one of these that's over 50, so I have to do this. I'm here to present the Boss of the Year award. We send out questionnaires to everybody, and they get filled out. It comes back to a committee, and it's voted on. So I'm going to just refer to this person as this boss, so I don't give it away. Asked how this boss is respected as a supervisor or a leader in your group. Well, first and foremost, this person is not a boss. He's a friend. He's a leader. He's always there with the door open for you to go in and sit down, discuss something. Always lends a helping hand. This boss is a very good listener, always leads the team in a positive and professional manner. This boss is a great role model. This boss always shows empathy to his staff and puts faith and confidence in all of his people. He's very laid back and humbled. Always welcomes you with a smile and a handshake. As I said, this boss's door is always open to lend a listening ear or just give you a few words of encouragement. Never makes you feel like that he doesn't have time for you. This boss always does. This boss jumps right in and tackles any obstacle, whatever's faced as a team, individual, it's handled. He leads by example and encourages everybody to work hard. Whatever we do, this boss has your back. The question was, what does this boss do to contribute to the community? Well, this is probably going to be giving it away here shortly, but this boss is involved in many community activities. This boss has been on the YMCA board. This boss has been on the Christian County Mental Health Board. This boss has been on the Christian County Senior Citizens Board, as well as helping with the United Way campaign. This boss has been president, vice president, and treasurer of the Chamber of Commerce. This boss has also been the chairperson for the Chili Fest for many years. Without him and his two sons, the Chili Fest might not have went on because this boss took over for his father-in-law, who was Mr. Chili. Chili Fest continues to this day and is fun and very successful because of Kent. I just said it. Kent Richardson is the Boss of the Year. Now wait a minute, I got my good tagline here. The last question was, why do you believe this candidate deserves this award? This guy works with 13 women every day of the week. Is that deserving enough? Come on. Kent? To my boss, market president of C&B Bank and Trust, Kent Richardson.
Thank you. I'm honored. I started my career in banking in Springfield. Was up there for probably 15 years, and I come to Taylorville 14, 15 years ago. I've always lived here, but my career, just the way it happened, I ended up here. And then John Robinson, Ron Miser, a lot of good old buddies of mine, they said, hey, you need to get more involved in the community. So the Chamber of Commerce was the first thing I got involved in, and I'm real proud of that. When I got involved in the Chamber, it was kind of on a downward slide, but Mike Specia and John Robinson, we all got good people to get back involved in it. And then Fred Ronau. Fred is not with us now, he passed away, but Fred did an excellent job with the Chamber of Commerce. Got good people around him, resurrected the Chili Fest, and now we got a great group right now with Patty doing an excellent job. So Taylor should really be proud of what she's done carrying that on, because Fred did a great job and she's just carried it on just top notch. So very good, proud of you. Boss of the Year, I never expected this. I've had good bosses through my career. My latest one was Jim Hahn. A lot of you people know Jim Hahn, very respected guy, taught me a lot, and I just kind of carried it on. I'm blessed to have great staff, makes my job a lot easier. So gals like Callie, Susie, make my job a lot easier. So thank you all, thank you for coming, and I guess we'll go up to the next one. Thank you.
Sit down. Now you can stand. May I please introduce my husband, Greg Hornbuckle. He is to present the Volunteer of the Year Award this year.
Thank you, and good evening. Once again this year, I'm pleased to announce the recipient of the Volunteer of the Year Award for your Chamber of Commerce. And like several of the recent recipients, this individual is very involved with our Chili Fest. And for as much time as I spend on the square for those 3 days, I don't do as much for the event as this person. If the day should ever come that he can't be involved, I would need 2 people to fill his shoes. Part of the Chili Tent Committee, his role is focuses on the beverages we serve. Not only getting the product to the chili tent and the trailer on the northwest corner of the square, but countless trips to the ice machine, keeping everything cold. I don't know how many thousands of drinks we sell, but it really is a pretty daunting task, and one guy handles it. So, but his efforts don't stop there. Not one to sit idle. He keeps busy helping the chili tent cooks or servers or anything else we need during the event. That often includes helping with the setup on Friday and the teardown on Sunday. But his help and that of his employer, Refreshment Services Pepsi, is not limited to the Chili Fest weekend. They are committed members of your chamber and its events year-round. Some examples include providing beverages for the CEO class, which met a good part of the year in the chamber conference room, providing banners whenever asked, keeping the fridge stocked in the chamber office, all in addition to sponsoring many of the chamber events, including the popular spring swing. If asked, they generously give. Working with him is a pleasure, and he certainly makes my role as the Chili Fest chairman, which I guess I'm doing one more year, much easier. Please join me in congratulating your Volunteer of the Year, Brian Reed.
Really mean it, man. You did a hell of a job for us. Let me give you an official.
Thank you. Thanks. Thank you very much.
That's yours. You're welcome.
All right.
Speech. Thanks.
Speech, yeah. Oh, wow. Thank you very much. What an honor. I know from working with the community and getting to be a part of Taylorville that I don't know how you pick one Volunteer of the Year. I know everybody here helps out so much with everything that goes on here in Taylorville. I work with a lot of communities, and no matter what's going on in this particular community, event after event, the entire community comes out to support it. And what Linda and Patty do for the chamber and their communication and it's just great to be a part of everything that you guys do here, and I really appreciate it. This is a terrific event tonight. In my opinion, you're all winners for your hats. Everybody looks great. But thank you for honoring me in this. This really goes out to everybody who helps here in Taylorville. This is a terrific community, and I appreciate being a part of it. Thank you.
One of our most prestigious awards that's given out by the Chamber is our Outstanding Citizen of the Year. The Outstanding Citizen of the Year is, the award is presented to a local leader who has demonstrated a deep commitment to the greater Taylorville community. I would like to introduce Amy Hagan and Bobby Durbin, if you would please come up to present this award.
Thank you, Patty. After the Christian County Economic Development Corporation meeting last fall, I knew that I would be nominating these two individuals for the Outstanding Citizen of the Year award. These persons provide employment for nearly 30 individuals in our community and are often called the first students of Christian County CEO. They are actively involved in many acts of volunteerism, including donations of their time, their talent, and their treasure to the Christian County Senior Center, the Christian County YMCA, Citizens for Education, and Taylorville Memorial Hospital, among many others. Former Mayor Brotherton has called them, quote, role models, entrepreneurs, successfully able to handle any challenge thrown at them, great dreamers, and tremendous doers. Superintendent Firstenow says they have, quote, put Taylorville on the map, equipping the schools with high-speed internet and total access to the world for both staff and students. So I recruited the assistance of longtime CTI employee Bobby Durbin with their nomination. Bobby, in her words, will reinforce the reason why Mr. Billy Williams and Mr. Adam Vokes are the recipients of this year's Outstanding Citizen of the Year award. Bobby?
Thank you, Amy. Well, I could probably stand up here all night and talk about what an exceptional people Billy Williams and Adam Vokes are and why they deserve this award. I've known Billy and Adam most of my life, and I've had the privilege of working for them for the last 16 years. Over this time, I have seen how they truly care about their employees, their customers, and our community. They've been very active in different community events. One you all may remember is Tommy on the Tower. But most recently, and fresh in everyone's mind, started back in about 2012, when they decided that they wanted to start building fiber to the home. This was a very exciting but risky time for both of them. Picking the right community was very important. They could have picked a small community, which could have ensured greater growth, or a larger city, but they believed in our community. They wanted to invest in their hometown that supported them. So, in 2013, they started the Fiber to the Home project. This project took about 3 years to complete, and in July of 2016, Taylorville became one of the very few communities that offer gigabit internet service. Following a gigabit service, CTI was awarded a Fiber to the Home award. This is chosen by the Fiber to the Home Council and is presented to only one business in all of North America. These events have caught the attention of Governor Bruce Rauner, and he recently toured CTI this week to congratulate Billy and Adam on their success and present them with a proclamation for Small Business Week. I believe that Billy and Adam's investment in this community has put Taylorville on the map, and we have great things ahead of us. Thank you, Billy and Adam, for supporting our community and believing in us.
Wow, what an honor. I don't really know what to say to this.
I don't either.
It kind of reminds me of some advice that I got when I was in high school. My former boss told me, he said, Adam, he says, when you wake up in the morning, you have a choice to make. He says, you can get out of bed and you can make a choice to make a difference, or you can get out of bed and just live your life. He says, what will make you successful, or what will determine if you're successful or not, is how many times you choose to make a difference. And I'm in high school at the time, just out of high school. I had no idea what he was saying, you know. But I obviously remembered it, and I think about it occasionally, you know, so as we're going through business and when we're making hard choices and what we want to believe in and follow. And kind of like Bobby said, is Taylorville has been really good to us. They've supported us, and we try to give back anytime we can to this. Wow, I'm just, we should feel blessed, because there's a lot of people that get up every day and they choose to make a difference. And just the fact that you guys think that we're one of those people, that means a lot to us. I've got some people to thank. I couldn't be involved with half of the stuff that I am without support from my family, especially my wife, Amy, Bobby, and the staff at CTI. They do such a fantastic job that they make us look good all the time. You know, it's them, it's not us. I know it's not supposed to be about the business, but the journey that we've been on, the people that we've met along the way, they've been role models to us, and they've mentored us along the way, and they probably didn't even know they was mentoring us, because we was learning as we was talking. Every conversation we'd had with these people, we'd learned a little piece here and there and apply it to our business and how we, you know, go about our lives. And there's two special people in this room that need a special thank you. And I am what I am at my core, because of my parents. Kirk and Kathy, way in the back there. Yeah, I am what I am because of you. Two of the most generous people I know. Thank you for giving me the wisdom and the values to make good, positive choices. And probably most of all, thanks for letting me take apart every electronic device we had in the house. I don't have Bill, you have anything?
Wow, that was not knowing what to say. I don't have a lot to add to that. Usually I'm the one that goes first, and I kind of say everything that he was going to say. I have a lot of people to thank too. My wife is here sitting in the back. Her and my daughter, they put up with all of my hours of work that I put in. You know, they love me for the workaholic I am. and all the people at CTI, like Adam said, they make us look good. They're doing all the work day to day, in particular Bobby, we have especially to thank. We couldn't do any of the other things that we could do if Bobby wasn't there helping run the business. We could step away tomorrow for a month and not worry about the business at all. So she really means a lot to us. But this is such an honor. There are so many other people that I feel like do more than us and don't get a recognition for it. So we're really just humbled and honored to be recognized. So thank you.
Another very prestigious award that's given out by the Chamber, and it's not given out every year. It's kind of a sporadic thing. It's when somebody gets our attention, and like I said, it's when an individual has shown years of service and dedication to Taylorville and deserves to be recognized for this. We just think this is a really big deal. So, Jim Adcock, would you like to join us up front here, please, to present this award?
It is my honor tonight to introduce this year's Lifetime Achievement Award winner. The Lifetime Achievement Award has only been awarded a few times in the past history of the Chamber. This year's award winner is very deserving to be recognized for this prestigious honor given to just a few. Ken Hart moved to Taylorville in 1973 to take a position at First Trust and Savings Bank. For the past 44 years, Ken has been a very successful and distinguished distinguished banking career. He was an excellent at serving the customer's financial needs in our community as a banker. In addition to that, he was even a stronger and active proponent of working to improve the community we live in, to make it a better place to live, work, and play, economically and socially. In 1984, Ken was awarded Taylorville Chamber Optimum Citizen of the Year for his dedication to the community. Since being in Taylorville, it is difficult to think of a significant community event or project that Ken was not involved in one way or another. He was always the go-to person and had the leadership abilities to get the things done. We do not have enough time tonight available for me to talk about all the community activities Ken has been involved in. However, I'd like to mention a few. He served for many years as board and executive member of the Christian County Economic Development Corporation, president of the Taylorville Industrial Development Corp., board chairman of Taylorville Development Corp., all of which promoted new business development to the area. He served on Lincoln Land Community College Board of Trustees and the Foundation Board, was instrumental in the expansion of the permanent facility in Taylorville. He was co-founder and board chairman of the Christian County YMCA and has been a strong supporter of the Y over the years in numerous events and capital fundraising activities. He was board chairman of St. Vincent's Memorial Hospital, now known as Taylorville Memorial Hospital. He co-chaired the capital campaign in 2006 to add the new surgical suite, entrance, and ER area for the hospital. He was a founding board member of the Taylorville CEO program, chaired the fundraiser to restore the Crystal Glass Dome for the 100-year celebration of the Christian County Courthouse. Presently, Ken is working and instrumental in obtaining funding and future construction of the new industrial park on Taylorville's northwest end to attract new jobs and industry to Taylorville. The list could go on and on. However, one of Ken's greatest accomplishments, I think, was hiring me in 1993 at First Trust Bank. But seriously, one of the reference letters written on Ken's behalf included in the Lifetime Achievement Award application included this statement, which I'd like to share. Travel anywhere in Christian County, Illinois, and beyond, and speak to anyone who knows Ken Hart. Immediately, the tone of their conversation becomes filled with respect, and a kind reverence seldom accorded to mere mortals. This is the level of regard in which this man is held by those who know him. Ladies and gentlemen, let's give a round of applause for recognizing the 2017 Lifetime Achievement Award recipient, Ken Hart.
Thank you, Jim. Thank you, Patty. Thank you, Taylorville, Greater Taylorville Chamber of Commerce Board of Directors. I'm very honored to receive this award. When I read some of these nomination letters, I thought, I don't remember doing all those things, but I guess I did. So, I'll give you a little history. My wife and I moved here in February of 1973 with our 18-month-old daughter, Shara, who's sitting right there. And we went to work, or I went to work at that point, which was First Trust and Savings Bank, which is now U.S. Bank, February the 12th. We lived close to the bank, so I just walked to work. I walked to the work. I started to open the door, shook on it, it was locked. It said closed in observance of Abraham Lincoln's birthday. I went home and I told my wife, Janice, who's soon to be 50 years married, that I think this was a good omen. I get the first day off. I really need to thank a lot of people that have helped me throughout the years and have just been with me day in and day out. And I'd like to try to tell you about some of those people tonight. Of course, my wife, Janice. When I first came to work, I had a very good trainer, and the guy named of Dave Breeze. He trained me to make farm loans. And every morning at 8 o'clock, from 9 o'clock, that was a training session, and there was nothing to be disturbed on that every day. So he did a great job. Also, Bill Larson, who was president of First Trust Bank, trained me how to be a banker, and for several years after that. But my real good friend, my mentor, Bill Hopper, taught me about life and how to live life and how to be generous and fair. So, Bill, thank you very much for everything you've done for me. Appreciate it. Now I want to thank some of the people that I work with. Of course, Jim Adcock, who introduced me. Karen Yeaman. Karen was kind of my, I guess she was my pusher. Every once in a while she'd come in and she'd say, I'm going to kick you in the butt if you don't start working harder here. This is your bank. You manage it. You run it. So I had to really thank Karen. She's been a lot to me. Another gentleman that's not here today, he's deceased, but he was a very, very good supporter of me, was Larry Meadows, who was a senior lender at First Trust and Savings Bank, along with Dave Watson. I know some of you people don't remember Dante Pilati, Dave Watson, and then Alberta DiPietro. She was a great gal. When I first came to First Trust, she kind of took me under her wing. She said, now, Ken, I'm going to tell you, you're a young guy. I'm going to tell you what to do and what not to do, because there's some things in this bank you got to be doing and some things you can't. I said, okay, Cheetah. So I want to thank all of the board of directors of the First Trust and Savings Bank, and also now the People's Bank where I work. Especially two very, very important people to me in John Gardner and Larry Beatty. John is here tonight. Larry is just retired from our bank board for People's. My close associate friends and people are Judy Pursoon, Carol Snyder, Edry Walton, Jennifer Nagel, Lindsay Lopian, Dan Sneed, Pat Kime, Sarah Van Huss is here tonight, Ashley Basso, and former associate Betty Asmussen. So, great gal. Many others need to be recognized who helped me over the years. Mary Renner, the Executive Director of Christian County Economic Development. She has been the one that's really put forth the effort in our application for the new industrial park grant. Mayor Greg Brotherton. Greg was the one that said, Ken, we need a motel, go to work on it. And we're getting closer and closer. We're really getting close on that. John Curtin, former chairman of the board, he came to me and he said, Ken, we want to have a 100-year celebration of the courthouse, and we want to redo the dome that is glass up on the 3rd floor. But we need you to help us raise some funds to fund that. I said, well, okay, John, I'll try to help you. How much do you need? And he said, well, it's going to be about $80,000. And I said, $80,000? He said, yeah. I said, well, okay. I think I can do that in about 2 weeks. And we did it in a week. But anyway, Gary Sperling, who is a very good, close friend of mine, worked very closely in economic development. Dick Adams, who is doing a fantastic job in the CEO program. And, of course, Patty Hornbuckle and Linda, they just do a fantastic job. A special thanks tonight also to our Congressman Rodney Davis and his family. Rodney has been very supportive of me over the years. I've helped Rodney in his campaigns, and he's doing a fantastic job for us in Washington, so don't be afraid to tell him that. He works very, very hard, and he's got a lot of things accomplished for this district. And last but not least, my good friend for years and years, Bob Hamer. Thank you very much.
Good? It's not falling. Okay. We at the Chamber have created an award this year. We've never given out an award like this, but the Board of Directors got together and all unanimously decided that this was something that needed to be done for recognition. And our presenter of this award, and I will officially call this what it is, and it's called the Chamber's Inspiration Award. So, Randy Miller, would you please come up and present this award, please?
Thank you, Patty. I'm honored to be the presenter for a special award that the Greater Taylorville Chamber of Commerce is giving tonight. It's not being presented to a particular person. It's being presented to a movement. The movement is convincing thousands of people to do something they didn't want to do. This movement, although spearheaded by a few people, was begun by a small group, but it grew one person at a time. And then it grew some more. And then it grew some more. It was like a group of people pushing a heavy rock up a mountain. As more people helped push, the load got lighter. They all saw the top of the mountain, and they kept pushing and getting more people to help. Ultimately, they got the rock. They did get the rock to the top of the mountain. It took a lot of effort by a lot of people, Many behind the scenes, like Rick Champley, Rick White, Doug Hughes, Jake Butcher, people like Melissa Livingston, Dusty Odom, Dennis Atterbury, Lee Mateer, Terry Donnan, and local residents like Tanya Gideon, Reverend Stan Pratt, Jason Handigan, Jenny Motes, Shannon Morgan, and other people. That's why the Greater Taylorville Chamber of Commerce is pleased to present this special Inspiration Award to the Citizens for Education Committee. I know there are many in this audience that were on the committee or helped in other ways to get our school referendum passed. I would like all of you that were involved in any way to please stand so we can recognize you for your hard work in having a positive impact for Taylorville kids for generations. Anyone involved in Citizens for Education, please stand so we can recognize you. And this is the award, and it will just sit here until somebody moves it. Thank you.
And just a reminder, too, for a photo op, if you would meet me afterwards with your award, I'd really appreciate it. So congratulations again. Truly an inspiring award, so congratulations. I think it's time now for our keynote speaker. A good friend of mine, Jen Sullivan. You might have seen her on the news in the morning. She's the morning and midday anchor for WICS and Fox 55. But she's also kind of famous in Taylorville for Chili Fest. Her and her crew stopped by Chili Fest, and they actually had a booth and stopped by and did a little presentation on our stage. So at this time, I'd like to introduce Jen Sullivan.
Thanks, Patty. First, I'd like to just recognize all of the award recipients and give them one more round of applause and congratulate them for all of their hard work and making a difference in this community. Congratulations again. I'm truly honored to MC this evening tonight and celebrate the 110 years of dedication and hard work by the Greater Taylorville Chamber of Commerce. And in case anyone's wondering, my hat's number 10, or number 4, excuse me, number 4. So if this is a voting thing, please vote for this one. Actually, I have a lot of competition out there. I think that blue one's gonna win. When I first moved to Springfield 2.5 years ago, everyone said, you've got to go to Taylorville. It is the home of the Chili Fest, and it's incredible. And last year, as Patty mentioned, I had the honor of being a judge, and I ate so much chili and understood why. But as I was leaving, then I meandered into Bill's Toasty, and I thought, I think this is also the best burger I've had since I've been in Central Illinois, so I think we need to add that to Taylorville's name. Tonight is all about celebrating this community. It's about celebrating businesses in the square that have been here for generations. It's about supporting the new restaurants and cheering on those tornadoes at a 4A playoff game in the fall. This is a tough time for Illinois. The state's nearly 2-year financial crisis is forcing our schools to make tough choices. It's crippling our state agencies and forcing them to make cuts. And businesses are forced to tighten their belts. And the burden, unfortunately, is falling on us. And it's particularly hard for communities like Taylorville. But what makes this community so great is the ability to rise above tough times and support one another. And as I look around this room tonight, that's exactly why we're here. We're here to recognize the incredible achievements of individuals and businesses that make this area great. And the Chamber of Commerce is at the epicenter of that. Taylorville is rich with generosity. You see it every day. Drive down those streets, you see neighbors embracing one another like family, you see children playing catch and chasing each other and riding bikes down the sidewalk. There's a sense of camaraderie here that only a small community can have. I'll tell you something, I was born in New York City and I grew up in Chicago. And it's miraculous how lonely you can feel in a metropolis like that. The sense of solidarity dissipates among the smog and the congestion. And in those cities, the only time you feel close to someone is when you're standing at a crosswalk and you're just waiting for that light to turn green and you're rubbing shoulders with the person next to you. Half the time you don't even know who it is because you're so busy looking at your phone. It's true. But that's what makes places like Taylorville and Springfield so unique. They have soul, and the people have heart. And it's that beating energy that makes me so proud to be a part of this community. One thing I love is just walking into the supermarket or dry cleaners and having people come up to me and say, "I watch you every morning." It always makes me smile. But last week, I had some gentleman come up to me and say, "You know what? I wake up to you every morning in bed." I thought, what? I'm glad my boyfriend's laughing at that one. I wasn't sure how he was going to take that one. I promise I've never seen him before. But I knew what he meant. And I'm sure a lot of you probably wake up to News Channel 20 in the morning. You hear our voices while you're making coffee, maybe brushing your teeth, sitting at the kitchen table, having cereal with your kids. You invite us into your homes. And that bond, that's what makes me want to get up every day at 2 in the morning, knowing that people are waking up at 5. One of the great things about strong communities is how we bond together to overcome tragedy. And I want to share with you 2 stories about 2 very different families from this area that were able to be picked up by the community when they were struck with grief. Back in December, I was doing a story about the Kenzie Wish List organization, which is just outside of Taylorville. Many of you have maybe heard of it. In 2011, Mackenzie Moreland had passed away from a heart irregularity. She was only 14 years old. But from this tragic story spawns a story of life and inspiration. To keep her memory and her sense of generosity alive, her family began granting wish lists to those in need during the holiday season. It was a pretty miraculous story. And each year, this family accepts nominations and chooses which families that they're going to help out. And raising money all year round, they're able to make these children's Christmas wishes come true. So while most families are busy wrapping gifts for their own children, this family spent countless hours shopping, gifting, wrapping, and sending gifts out to 107 different children in Central Illinois. And that was just this year. And that number keeps on growing. But this year was particularly special for the Mackenzie Wish List Foundation. They granted a wish for one little girl named Holly. And Holly has a very unique story. This past October, you may have heard about this story. Jessica Tyson Reagan, who is Holly's mother, was on her way to their new house they had just bought, and she was 7 months pregnant. And she was on her way there to paint the nursery for their new home. But unfortunately, she never made it there. She and her unborn baby were killed by a drunk driver at 3 in the afternoon. And little Holly was left motherless at just 4 years old. And when Erica Moreland read about Holly's story, she knew she had to make a difference in this child's life and grant wishes for her Christmas list. And on top of that little girl's list was a Barbie dream house. Of course, all little girls, that's what they want at 5 years old. They want a Barbie dream house. We all want that. I still want a Barbie dream house. Well, when people around here heard about what the Morelands were doing for Holly, the presents just began to pour in. bags and bags and bags full of gifts. And one person even donated that Barbie dream house. And when Holly's grandparents got the phone call to say that these presents were going to be delivered, they had no idea what anyone was talking about. So they show up to the house to deliver these gifts, present after present after present after present, coming through the door, and they were just all amazed. And little Holly was just watching in amazement with the biggest grin on her face. It was just amazing to see, because I was there witnessing all of this, of course, with a camera crew, but it was so emotional, I almost broke down in tears just watching it. But it was a moment that neither of those two families would forget, and one that brought everyone, including myself, to tears. And while that moment couldn't heal the wounds that are still scarring a mother and her future brother, her future son, gone forever, it would give them some hope, and they would know they weren't alone. Now, these grand acts of kindness illustrate the power that we possess as a community, that we have the ability to make a difference and instill change. And through our voice and through our hearts, we can achieve something so much greater than ourselves. And that's what tonight is about, celebrating that and recognizing that we have that power in ourselves, and it becomes even more powerful when we come together as a community. So I promise that those are the last of my remarks. You guys can go back to the bar and continue drinking. Don't forget number 4. But I think that turns to our hat competition. So I will bring the number 1 hat up to the stage. Patty, thank you so much. Have a good evening. I appreciate you inviting me here. Thank you.
Thank you, Jen. This does come to this is the conclusion of our show. I said show.